the way down.
Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. I am Siti Nubalkis binti Bahari from 1 BTEC Section 2 Group 5. We'll be presenting about the concept of elasticity demand. In this video, we are going to present the concept of elasticity to address how much the quantity demanded respond to change in market condition, such as price. Specifically, we are going to talk about rice. Before we start our content, this video is prepared only for educational purpose.
I'm Tan Ilu. So right now, I would like to describe price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand, which is PED, is refers to the degree to which the quantity demanded of good or service changes in response to a change in its price. It measures how sensitive consumers are to price changes. If demand is elastic, a small change in price will lead to a large change in quantity demanded. If demand is inelastic, a change in price will cause only a small change in quantity demanded. Essentially, PED, which is price of elasticity demand, will help to understand how price changes impact consumer purchasing behavior. So right now, I would like to explain the 5 types of price elasticity of demand. So for the first one is elastic demand. Elastic demand occurs when the quantity demanded of a good or service is highly responsive to changes in a price. So in other words, a small change in price leads to relatively larger change in quantity demanded. So for the elasticity value, the elasticity coefficient, which is PED, is greater than 1. So for example, the luxury goods like high-end electronics or branded clothing, if the price of a luxury item decreases by 10%, consumer might increase their purchase by more than 10%, demonstrating high responsiveness to the price changes. So for the second one is the inelastic demand. Inelastic demand refers to a situation where the quantity demanded of a good or service is not very responsive to price changes. In other words, even if the price increases or decreases, the quantity demanded change very little. So the elasticity coefficient PED is less than 1. For example, necessities like basic food items, for example, rice and bread, or essential medication, if the price of bread increases, consumers will still buy it, although they might buy slightly less. However, the change in demand is very small. So for the third one is about the unitary demand. Unitary demand occurs when the percentage change in quantity demanded is exactly equal to the percentage change in price. In other words, demand changes proportionally with price. So for the elasticity value, the elasticity coefficient PED is equals 1. So for example, if the price of a good increases by 5%, the quantity demanded decreases by exactly 5%. An example might be some everyday goods where consumers are fairly responsive to price but maintain a consistent overall expenditure. So for the fourth one is perfectly inelastic demand. So perfectly inelastic demand is refers to a situation where the quantity demanded does not change at all in response to changes in price. No matter how high or low the price, the quantity demanded remains constant. So for the elasticity value is 0. For example, life-saving medications, even if the price of insulin rise dramatically, patients will still need to purchase it at the same quantity because their demand is entirely unresponsive to price changes. So for the fifth one is about the perfectly elastic demand. Perfectly elastic demand refers to a situation where the quantity demanded change infinitely in response to even the smallest change in price. In other words, consumers will only buy the good at one specific price, and any increase in price will result in a complete drop in demand. So for the elasticity value is infinite. So for example, commodities that are perfect substitutes for each other. For instance, if two vendors are selling identical products, for example, maybe for a specific brand or bottled water, consumers will buy only at the lower price. Even a small increases in price will result in no demand at that price point.
Hi, I'm Muhammad Anas Hasanuddin bin Nizar, and I would like to share some fact about the price of rice according to the given time. As seen next to me is the rice price table from year 2023 into 2024. Next is the price elasticity of demand, where it can be classified into 5 categories: elastic, inelastic, perfectly inelastic, and unitary elastic. Next below is the formula for calculating it. For example, let's consider a product like rice. If the price of rice increased by 10% and quantity demanded of rice decreased by 5%, then the price elasticity of demand for rice is negative 5% divide 10% equal negative 0.5%. Since the absolute value of the PED is less than 1, this indicates that the demand for rice is inelastic. This means that the quantity demanded is relatively insensitive to changes in price. When the price of rice increased by 10%, the quantity demand decreased by only 5%, which suggests that consumers are not significantly reducing their consumption of rice in response to the price increase.
Hello everyone, my name is Liwi and I will be talking about interpretation of value from the formula and graphical given for rice. So first, to calculate the price of elasticity of demand for rice, we will use the midpoint formula, which is Q1 minus Q0, divide the sum of Q1 and Q0 divided by 2, and then divide P1 minus P0 divided by the sum of P1 and P0 divided by 2. Then we put in with an example amount and we will get the answer as 0.37 due to the elasticity of demand is below 1, which means rice exhibits inelastic demand. In this situation, the demand for the rice is inelastic. This means consumers are less sensitive to change of price for rice. So the graph on the right shows the inelasticity of demand for rice. As we can see from the graph, a steeper curve represents the inelasticity. A percentage of changes in price will cause a smaller percentage of changes in quantity demanded. This is because rice have inelastic demand, which means people will continue to buy it even if the price changes significantly. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kopriyan. Right now, I will explain about total revenue, TR of price elasticity demand. For total revenue, the producer or seller need to know the reaction of consumer towards price change to adjust their selling price, which will affect the total revenue. TR for elastic demand, when demand is elastic, a decrease in price will increase the total revenue. This is because a smaller price decrease will lead to a larger percentage increase in quantity sold, whereas for inelastic demand, an increase in price will increase the total revenue. This is because a smaller percentage decrease in quantity sold will result from a larger percentage increase in price. While for unit elastic demand, total revenue is unchanged as price decreases. This is the point on the demand curve where total revenue is maximized. Now, we will see the key point to calculate total revenue. The key concept of calculating total revenue is thinking about collecting the most revenue in the price elasticity of demand. The formula to calculate total revenue is total revenue equals to price multiplied by quantity. Coming back to our product rice and looking at its example of total revenue during price elastic. When there is an increase in the price, there will be a significant decrease in total revenue. Whereas if the price of rice decreases, the total revenue increases. For price elastic, the total revenue moves in the direction of the quantity change. Next, for price inelastic, when the price of rice increases, the total revenue also increases, and vice versa. If there is a decrease in the price of the rice, the total revenue also decreases. Total revenue in price inelastic, the curve moves in the direction of the price change.
To conclude, for inelastic demand, the percentage change in quantity demanded is smaller than the percentage change in price. For consumer behavior, for inelastic goods, consumers are less sensitive to price changes. They continue to buy even at higher prices. For revenue implications, when demand is inelastic, total revenue tends increases if prices rise, as the quantity demanded decreases marginally compared to the price increase. To sum up, understanding inelastic demand helps business optimizing pricing strategies for goods where consumption remains stable despite price fluctuation. That's all from us, and we would like to give a big thank you to our lovely Dr. Atira for the guidance and support, and all the group members as well. Also, one thing, these are the roles of each member.